Hey, we're gonna make some pork ribs today. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm such a dork. All right, today we are gonna cook some pork spare ribs. Actually, they're St. Louis cut spare ribs. I just wanna really kind of walk you through my thinking process when doing this. I know this is gonna be one of the first things you cook in your smoker, so just gonna share with you how I would approach it, and we'll see what kind of results we get. Hopefully they'll be great. As you know, we have this great recipe book, and that's a fantastic starting point. But remember, with barbecue, you make it your own. You can take it any direction you want. You can tweak things. I mean, that's the beauty of it, really, is to go in and tweak settings to match your liking and your learnings. So I'm going to share with you kind of some of my learnings, and we'll use this as maybe a starting point for you. All right, so this rack of ribs is a little over 5 pounds. It's pretty huge. I'm going to trim it up a little bit. My understanding and my experience is that spare ribs take longer to smoke, so I'm expecting on this, I'm actually going to cook these at 250 in the smoker, smoke level 5, and I'm going to go for, it's probably going to take about 6 hours, I'm guessing. But we'll see, we'll check it along the way and see how it's going. I'm just going to kind of talk you through what I'm thinking here. There's some stuff I'd like to trim on this, but honestly, I don't trim too much because this fat is flavor. It's going to render, it's going to be good, so you know, I'll try to take a little bit of it off. All right, the back side of these. So something you're gonna hear talked about a lot is removing the membrane. And so this does have a membrane, and you can totally remove it if you want. I've just gotten to where I don't even bother with it. I just score it. And so I just sort of do this number. That seems to work pretty well. Again, feel free, you can use like a butter knife and a like paper towel, get in there and peel that off if you really want to. And I think that helps with smoke penetration and seasoning, getting into the meat. But I haven't really struggled with it too much. So this little ridge here, I'm gonna kind of trim that down. Just looking for kind of a flat rib. I'm not gonna do too much more than that. At the end of the day, a lot of that's gonna render, and it's gonna be delicious, really. So I think that looks pretty good. Also, I've had this sitting out for a little bit. Kind of let it come up from refrigerator temps a little bit. That might help speed up the cook a little bit. Probably not a lot, but just something to think about. If you put it in there at like 37 degrees, it's probably gonna take a little longer to cook. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of just sort of like trimming fairly aggressively to make it look nice. I think that's pretty good. So with spare ribs, they're wider than baby back ribs, and so you're not going to really be able to easily fit two halves on a single rack. So I'm just going to go 1/2 on each rack, and I've got another one here that I'm going to process up the same way. And that one's a little smaller, so I think I could probably fit both of those onto a single rack, and then we'll load this bad boy up. This is a 50-50 blend of diamond crystal, kosher salt, which I love, and coarse ground black pepper. So we're just going to use this as our base. And you want to season up kind of high because it lets you distribute it more evenly. So you can see it's going on pretty evenly. Okay, and again, I recommend this kosher kind of like medium or coarse salt because, believe it or not, it is less salty than table salt. And I don't know if that's because it's more coarse and so you don't get as much in the crevices and stuff, but like table salt is really salty and you have to be really careful with it because you can easily oversalt. Got one other thing I'm going to put on this just to give it a little color. Pick your favorite rub. I mean, you don't have to use the salt and pepper. You can just go straight rub on it. Totally fine. Totally up to you. I don't know. I like that look, that color. A little extra flavor. And I'm going to go ahead and what I do is just check what'll fit my rack, and so when I cut that in half, it's going to be easy. It'll easily fit. So I'm going to go right between the bones, and they kind of go at an angle. Cut it right in half. And then I put it pretty side up. That. So we'll just lay this out. That's pretty. All right, so there's our first rack. I'm gonna repeat this for the second rack, and then we'll put them in the smoker. Let's go get them in.
Hey everybody, real quick, a couple things. Smoker accessories, the chicken, beer can chicken rack and the veggie / rib dividers, they are coming out real soon. We've selected the beta testers for those products. So they should be receiving those soon. Let us know what other accessories you're interested in. We'll give them a try. Also, drip tray liners. These are custom fit to perfectly fit the drip tray, super convenient. You can pre-order those now on the website. They will be showing up here in the very near future as well. There's a link in the description for those. You can pre-order those right now. Okay, next, GE Profile has partnered with Kona for pellets, and there's a really great selection out there. You've got like pure woods like cherry, oak, hickory, etc., the standards, but my personal favorite is the mesquite acacia. That's a more smoky flavor, really bold. I love that blend. I use that on just about anything. And these bags are really convenient. You can get a couple smokes out of them. You can have a variety. They don't take up a lot of space. Link in the description below if you'd like to order some. All right, now let's get back to the ribs.
On the smoker, I've gone away from the preset just a little bit because I know spare ribs take a little longer to cook, and so I bumped it up from 235 to 250. And I don't know, 250 I think of as a great, for just about anything I smoke, 250 is a really good starting point, right? 225 is also very popular and good, but I like 250. I think it's a good balance of time and temperature. Let's see here. we're gonna probably rotate these at about the 3 hour mark. Maybe a little sooner, maybe 2 hours. So I'm gonna put these, the doubled up rack down below. And this is kind of my heaviest, meatiest piece here. My thinking is I like to put those up top because you got a little, it's a little warm up there by the smoke elimination area. And so that's, I think, a good spot. And then this piece we'll just shove right in the middle. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. I'm thinking about it though. I'm gonna change it, actually. I'm gonna switch this around. So I'm gonna put these, because they're kind of jammed right together, I'm gonna put these right in the middle. I don't know why, it just feels right to me. Just right outside the smoke port, I'm gonna put those there. And this guy kind of down low on its own should get plenty of airflow around it. So I'm gonna put the double in the middle. We're gonna go with that. So I'm gonna come back and check this in, I'll probably come back and check it in an hour, just see how it's doing. We'll rotate at some point, and I am gonna wrap these a little later in the cook. It's something I find that really just helps with tenderness, and so we'll also talk about that when the time comes. All right, we're about 2 hours in. Let's see how we're doing and make any adjustments that are necessary. It's got good color. That one's looking really good. But I'm gonna do a rotation here because I think that one these probably need to spend a little time up top. But they're looking good. So what's going on is, as the fat renders on the top, it's dripping down onto the ribs below. It's very common. It's another good reason to rotate, just so you can kind of get everything kind of mixed together and beautiful. Just formerly on the top. So I had cleared the smoke. I'm going to resume the smoke now. This will give me another 4 hours of smoke at this point. So it's going to ask me to check my water, which is good, and my pellets, which are still great. All right, we're right at the 4 hour mark. So these have been smoking for 4 hours. I'm gonna take them out now, and I'm gonna put them in foil. I'm gonna wrap them in foil for maybe about an hour. My plan is I'm gonna put down some butter and a little bit of brown sugar and put them meat side down. So the bones will be up, meat side down, wrap them, put them back in there for probably an hour. Right on time here. All right, so this foil's just doubled up just to keep it from tearing. Okay. And we can turn the smoke off at this point because we're just cooking. No smoke needed. Obviously, they're wrapped in foil. In about an hour, I'm going to come back, unwrap them, and we'll probably put them back in just for maybe 20 minutes just to kind of tack up on the outside, and they'll be ready. The ribs are about done. They're wrapped. They should be really good to go. I would like them to continue to cook a little bit uncovered, and I like to put a little barbecue sauce on them, just really light coat, just to kind of add a little texture and tanginess to the ribs. So what I'm going to do is just take some barbecue sauce, pick your favorite. We got a local restaurant here. I'm just going to use their barbecue sauce. It's kind of thick. I don't want a big thick coating of barbecue sauce, so I'm just going to kind of water it down a little bit. And then I'm just going to brush it on. Okay, so that I'm going to call awesome. We probably don't even need the sauce, but I'm going to do it anyway. So normally if I'm barbecuing outside, I would do this. So I'm just going to give them a real light, just sort of, just another layer of flavor.
And then I'm gonna put this beautiful baby in here on this rack. And we're gonna let it tack up for just, maybe 20 minutes. So we've got them out. They look really good to me. I mean, so I'm just kind of checking to see if the surface is kind of tacky, like the fat's rendered. I think it's pretty decent. Gosh, they look really juicy. Like look at this right here. Look, see that? You can see the kind of the fat. Oh yeah, that's really good. All right, so a couple things that I'm personally looking at is I want to see the bark. The bark looks really good on these. They're juicy, so I'm kind of looking at, is it juicy? Definitely is juicy. If you wanted to make them more tender, you can spend a little more time in the foil. If you wanted to have a little more pull or bite, then you could do less time in the foil or no foil at all. So, I mean, really for me, it's about the bark, juiciness, and the flavor. It's got like a sweet, smoky, juicy flavor to it, and I love it. This is a starting point. My goal here is to get you in the ballpark of some really good ribs. Feel free to tweak it to your liking, and remember that every cut of meat is going to behave a little differently. So, you kind of have to adapt on the fly a little bit sometimes, but I think this should give you a great start. Let us know in the comments what you think. What are your methods, and what other things would you like to see? We're happy to jump in and interact with you and shoot some more content. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. That was really good. Oh, dripping.